Recently, I've been trying out Forbidden Rite. So far, the skill is interesting. But today isn't going to be about my bad decisions in builds, it's going to be about other people's. Or more specifically, a disturbing trend that I've noticed with Forbidden Rite. And that is that people are prioritizing damage numbers in Path of Building over quality of life that could keep your character alive and will also result in higher damage output, especially against the most dangerous enemies in PoE, many of which are mobile and will attempt to charge at you. Forbidden Rite is a fairly slow-moving projectile. You fire it at a centralized location, so if the enemy is charging you, the projectiles could miss, which gives the enemy an opportunity to hit you for free, and you don't get to retaliate. After some testing though, I've found a solution, and this solution is brought to you in part due to the generous support of my patrons and YouTube channel members. More about how you can help at the end of a video. So to demonstrate how extreme this is, here is Forbidden Rite. I am casting it at fairly close range, and then I'm going to be casting it at fairly long range. There's a significant amount of travel time between when the projectile appears and when it impacts with the ground. Now, watch this for comparison. This is what my Forbidden Rite actually looks like. And you'll notice immediately that the projectile is far more responsive. In fact, the projectile travel speed is significantly faster, so the amount of time it takes between when I cast it and when it impacts is significantly shorter. The difference here is, in my actual build, I have 80% increased projectile speed. What I noticed is, on their cluster rules, a lot of people playing Forbidden Rite are using Eye to Eye and Repeater, because these are the highest damage numbers in PoB. Streamlined is slightly less damage, until you realize that it gives you 20% projectile speed, and then in many cases it's actually significantly more. The main sources of projectile speed that you can get are Streamlined on your projectile clusters, which is super easy to integrate into your build, and you absolutely should be doing. 20% Quality on Forbidden Rite itself, which is also super easy and you should also be doing. Now, you could use faster projectile support, but I don't think that's really worth it. If you have no other option, let's say you're not using cluster jewels because you're an SSF, and you might not have a 2120, but you got a 21-0, then alright. Faster projectiles is going to feel better, and probably against mobile enemies do more damage than not having it. But it's not really great in comparison to the other options. You could also get 30% from a helmet enchant. Now, this might not be worth it, since +1 projectile is pretty tempting. But based on Firegrass's testing, you aren't going to overlap more than 5 projectiles anyway. So if you're already getting 5, such as you're using volley support, and you're on a totem build, so you're using Rain of Splinters, then there's no point in getting the 6th projectile from your helmet enchant. You might as well just go with proj speed. This is something that BalorMage also talked about when he did his Forbidden Rite build. If you're self-cast, if you have really good uptime on your Dying Sun because you're a Pathfinder, alright, maybe it's worth it. If you're only at 4 projectiles like I am on my current setup because you're in scuffed gear with scuffed ideas, maybe it's not so worth it. Whether or not you use the +1 proj or the proj speed helmet enchant is kind of up to you. The last source would be on a wand. You can get quite high proj speed rolls, and it's not a stat people really value, so this is another good way to pick up a bunch if you don't have access to cluster jewels yet and you are in a trade league. Hopefully this video helps to demonstrate, quite visibly, the difference between low and high projectile speed Forbidden Rite. Having played the skill for about a day now, I can safely say that high projectile speed Forbidden Rite feels significantly better than low proj speed, and I've noticed very few people are stacking proj speed, and very few people are aware of the 5 projectile cap, as I've seen a lot of setups using greater multiple projectiles, +1 on the helmet enchant and Dying Sun, and while that would be good for clear, it is going to significantly hurt your single target damage. So hopefully these Forbidden Rite tips have helped you out in making good decisions, and not doing things like a self-cast life-based Forbidden Rite. I have no idea who would be foolish enough to do such a thing. But now I have one question for you, which is, what other skills in the past have you found have a neat trick where, on paper, the DPS is lower, but in practice the skill feels way better to play, and actually, in the real world, outputs higher DPS. I'd love to hear some of those tips and what skill they're attached to down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. A special thanks to my YouTube channel members and patrons, whose generous support keeps me from needing to accept sketchy mobile game sponsorships. If you want the best way to keep up with my video releases and live streams, or maybe just hang out and chat with a bunch of like-minded people, be sure to join the Discord. You can find all these links down in the description below. Thank you again, and I hope you have a great day.